Welcome to the Intentional Household Podcast. I am Laura Wilson, joined by Tatiana Rivers today. Today, we're talking about systems that are working for us right now, that are supporting us through our household, for our kids, our relationship, our social support, any outsourced support that is helping us, and lastly, ourselves. Our hope is that some of these systems will inspire you to implement them yourself. So let's get into it. Tatiana, let's start by talking about a system that is supporting the kids right now.
Systems that support the kids that I have been using for some time. So that means it's like, hasn't just been a little trial. It has now gone through a year and it's still sticking. Okay. And I see improvement with behavior and things that I want to see with my children and a little more structure in it and just very positive developments. And that is a chore chart.
All right.
I introduced these about almost 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And they're just things I got off of Amazon, just like a dry erase chore chart. At the beginning, they're kind of made for like little kids' ages. And since then, I've actually changed them because the chores, it's like brush my teeth. I'm like, we've mastered that, I hope. Little things like that where you kind of stick them on and then they provide these little stick-on stars.
Okay.
So for us, we allocated the star system meant something monetary for them. It's 25 cents per star. Very soon the stars start to disappear. So we use dry erase markers and it works. But this system still is every star that you get for whatever chores we've decided is 25 cents.
Okay.
And it's done like Monday to Friday. They can see it clearly. Like I said, the chores that were very young and we've gone past those, I have replaced them with, I use, like this Avery label makers, like clear tape for the Avery labels.
Okay.
And then I can put them on what I want. Like I make the chores up, I put them on, and then I can remove them and change them how I want. So we developed, like, what chores do we think we want to be doing this year? This is, again, our second year that we're doing this. So the kids have, clearing up after dinner, unloading the dishwasher. These are the twins that are 9. And then I have my youngest who is 6, and she needs to work on getting herself dressed in the morning.
Okay.
Where that's like really like still a hurdle. So whatever I think I want them to somewhat, this is what you're going to work on. And when you do it every day, you get a star. And the other thing is they will lose stars if they misbehave.
Yeah, that's good.
So at the end, they tally it and they're supposed to, there's a little area where they can put a goal. It can be either just monetary, like I want to make $5, or the goal is they want to buy something for themselves.
Okay.
Which really helps when we're in stores and they're like, I want this and I want that. I'm like, you know what? Make it your goal. You want to purchase this, art kit, even though we are have so many markers and things, you really want it. I'm okay if you work towards that. And then sometimes I'll be like, I don't really want it anymore. Or they'll be really driven to be like, okay, great. What chores can I do around the house? And it's just something that I've seen that encourages really good behavior and also brings in the concept of working, like a job for them. Like this is how they get paid for doing things.
So they are making note in the store, this item is $5, and then they're going home and then working towards that. So they aren't actually buying the item at the time.
No.
They have time to earn their...
That's right. Which they have to understand that so you just, everything that we purchase, required us to work for it. And sometimes it takes a long time, like going on vacations and things like that. So when they start to see the price of items and how long it takes for them to get to it, it does resonate with them of what it takes to you can't just, buying stuff is easy. So it's too easy, for them. And they need to understand the hard work that has to go into it. And as they grow up and become, working people themselves, adults, young, even when they're teens, they need to know how to, really save up for things. And sometimes they'll want to go off and purchase something else. I'm like, well, you're not going to meet your goal. If you do that, if you're buying this candy all of a sudden, you can use some of your chore chart money for this, but now you're not getting this. So just think about that. And it does help the wheel start to turn around that.
And are they putting some of this money in the bank, or what are they doing with the cash?
Very interesting. So again, I have twins, which is like a science experiment, to see them behave differently. My daughter is a spender. Okay. She gets money in the bank. She's like, great, I'm going to go shopping. Whereas my son loves to save and he loves to put money in his bank account. So he'll have his little piggy bank where he gets the little money and it starts to add up. It does. Well, as soon as he gets to $5 or $10, he's like, Mom, I need you to put this in the bank account. He gives it to me and he's like, I want to see it. So I have to like transfer money into his checking account and show it to him. Or we go to the bank machine and he likes to put it in and get his own stub.
For
and
him.
He pins them up on his little board and to see how much money he's getting. And it's very motivating for him.
It really goes beyond just the chore chart. It's so much deeper.
And that's why I think it's
really
really working for us because I'm seeing these like lessons come in early that, are hard. It's hard to save. It's hard to put money aside. Like clearly my daughter's going to need to work on it. And I am working on it. I'm like, Layla, you need to, don't spend everything on whatever, just 10%. What is that, number? You're putting that into savings, just starting to get them used to that concept because it's a lifetime of having to struggle with that and like trying to teach them there's temptation everywhere for you to purchase this and that. And every time you go to Dollarama, you think you're going to get something.
Every time.
Yeah. And it's, I have to explain that to them that those stores are designed to make you want to do this and walk through those long impulse purchase aisles to get to the cash. And they're just like bombarded with things that they want. And it's difficult for them. So having this kind of reinforces why and how and why not to purchase something and just make them really stop and think about where their money is going that they've worked hard for all week. So that's the money side of things that I've really, really enjoyed doing and like seeing that.
Are you saying 10% is the suggested amount?
Yeah, that's kind of like if you ever read, I think it's like The Wealthy Barber or something like that. That's kind of like, 10% of whatever you purchase should go to savings.
Okay.
Silly rule of thumb that doesn't always apply at all. But for them, it's a number that they can work with. And then we start bringing some math.
It's good to know that.
Yeah. And that's something that, Layla's like, okay, I can part with this much, out of that. So it starts to, again, conversations around money, I think is great to introduce early. And they absolutely can start understanding that from the age of 5 or 6, even 3, like if they start to understand saving and not spending it all. So that's the part I love about it. Another part is the behavior. There's a repercussion for, just being rude or, that sort of stuff. You're losing a star. And then it sometimes catches them be like, oh man, like I can't. We have to have some sort of consequences in our house, right? So that's an easy one to implement that does impact them.
Okay. It has them thinking twice.
And they see it. And so not only do we take off the star, but I put a 0.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Because I first just erased them and then somehow they started putting I actually got it for this. So we'd forget.
Because you want to track what was earned and what was lost.
Yes. So I needed to make it very clear that, you lost your these 3 because, you just really, your temper got the best of you.
Okay.
Really start trying to think about how you're behaving with your sisters or just sharing or all that stuff. And then they look at it and they tally it and they're like, oh, yeah. Really do need to, really shouldn't have done that, So that's another part that I really like from this chore chart system. The part that's hard is really doing it. So I'm the owner of this task in my house. We talk about that often, like who's the owner of these things, within our organization. And we've at home, it's kind of the same way, you and I have talked about this. Like you need to have somebody that's been assigned to this. However, it's difficult being the owner of it all the time. Like I need to be on it. I would like my husband more involved in it. Like he takes stars away, but he's not necessarily staying on the whole system. And like you have to tally it at the end of the day. You have to make sure that everybody's chores were actually documented.
Okay.
So it's a task for me, to have to do this. And
then
you
have to pay out at the end of the week.
I do, which means I need loonies.
Right?
I actually have to go to the bank and get rolls of coins. Okay. That's the easiest way. Like usually the max they almost make is $5 in a week. That's just how it works with the amount of chores and how many stars they lose. But at the end, it's around that, which I think is reasonable for, a child at that age. Because if you're not on it and they lose trust in you in it, then this whole system falls apart. You have to follow through. Okay. If you're not going to stay good on it, then they don't care. Okay. So if you're committed, it's like, it's a family commitment. Like everybody needs to know that we're all following this, and maybe it's like a specific time. Usually it's like Sunday nights they're supposed to get their payout.
Okay.
It means I need to know like Saturday I better have the money in the bank. I have to go to the bank because these kids are going to be asking for it, so I have to make sure that I'm prepared and I've taken this on to make sure it actually is followed through. But when it is being followed, we're off on the summer. Okay. Because the schedules are just too crazy. We have kids at camp. We're not doing the usual systems. Like we had also school homework, get your backpacks packed, make sure your lunches are like all of that sort of stuff that I want to see them do. That was all part of it. So those things are gone. So we are taking a bit of a break in the summer, but it's coming back in September, definitely.
All right. You'll get the loonies ready.
I will get the loonies. I just got to have more of them and like hide them in a safe so my son doesn't go through it. And somehow he often has a lot more money than I think. I'm like, how did you get this? Like something's off here. But.
Well, I find that if they find just a random coin sitting around the house, I'm like, oh, check it out. I found a toonie. It's mine. I'm like, no. You don't just walk around finding toonies and claim that it's yours. It's actually mine.
Exactly. All money here is actually mine, just so you know.
Okay, my system is our screen-free weekends.
Oh, that's hard.
And screen-free evenings. And by evenings, I mean they're allowed to watch TV when they get home from school or camp. Once we have dinner, no more screens for the rest of the day. And so this has been a work in progress for us, especially for the weekend. So before, it was a bit of a free-for-all on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. We'd allow them to watch some TV, not a big deal. But it started becoming an issue when they would use it just to fill time, or especially when the weather's really nice and they wouldn't want to go outside.
Yeah.
Or the whole family might be outside and one person just wants to stay inside and watch TV. And so that was really becoming an issue because it was taking away from activities that we wanted to do. And it wasn't allowing them to be bored. And so if the TV wasn't on and we didn't have an activity, they would say, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. And so we really wanted them to develop that skill, if you will. And so we decided, I think we probably started with a screen-free Sunday because that's our family day anyway. There wasn't too much TV on Sundays. And then we're just like, this is pretty easy. It went really well. And so we just have screen-free Saturday as well. So we're not doing screen-free weekends, which has been really wonderful. Another leap for us was when the kids were younger and we really needed, you talked about brushing their teeth. We really needed incentive for them to get through the entire process of bedtime. And when they were done brushing their teeth after baths, they would be rewarded with 5 minutes each of TV.
Yes, I remember you said that.
So then you have 3 kids and it's 15 minutes. But then maybe you have a parent who's on their phone and then that timer goes off and then 15 minutes leads to 20, 25, 30. And then the whole evening is dragging out. And they really mastered the teeth brushing and bedtime process. So for us to take it away, it wasn't a big deal. They didn't put up too much of a fight. And so now we have no TV at all in the evening. And it has been great because bedtime, by the time they get upstairs to their beds, it is earlier, it doesn't drag out, and it's not affecting them.
Totally, because taking them off of that, now you've got to fight before bedtime. I mean, I experience that all the time. It's like, they're unwinding, but that amount of unwinding starts to increase. And so, okay, you've unwinded quite a bit here.
That's it.
How much more do you need?
Plenty of time to unwind. And I really want them to come up with strategies to unwind or relax or just have downtime that doesn't require TV.
I was just going to say that. And then they're just associating I need to unwind with TV and that's it.
Yes.
And then they actually go up into their room and start to enjoy that space and like want to read a book. And I'm like, there's no time. You used it up on TV. No, like it's now it's just lights out.
It is.
And then they're kind of like, oh, like, well, it's like you can't have it all.
I know.
Make a decision, choose. So, and then you really do have to be the one that's enforcing that, obviously. They're not going to make that decision themselves. So I think that's great to have that, it's not working before bed.
That's right.
And start getting them to unwind in another way that's much healthier.
It is. Yeah. And so they're not putting up a fight for that. But I will admit on the weekend, we do have to hide the remotes because if it is sitting around and they find a lull and no one's around, it's very easy for them to turn on. So we do put it in an area where they can't find it.
Smart.
Yeah. That is what is working well with us right now.
How long do you think you will implement that?
Well, it's interesting because we're in the process of considering just removing the TVs in general.
Oof.
Which, right, as you can imagine, that would have an impact on us as well. And so we really need to think hard about how we are going to make that next step.
Okay. I want to see that happen.
We'll see.
To be continued.
Stay tuned.
Yes. Yeah.
Next, let's talk about systems to support the household right now. What is working for you?
Well, technology is my best friend here. I really do start to rely on a lot of things. We just talked about screens, but my phone has a lot of information that I need to keep our household organized. Now we're starting with calendars. Syncing calendars. We can't rely on a paper calendar. We tried that once and it just did not work because it's not synced.
No, it's not.
And if someone is not keeping it up to date, my husband and I need to include our work schedules in there, different sport activities that we are different owners for, again, that I've signed things up for. He has no idea. And then the same thing happens. Then there's birthday parties, all sorts of things, getting gifts, RSVPing, all of these things that if it is not in our calendar, it is 100% going to be a problem.
Okay. And are you both users of it in terms of putting things in?
Yes, we are. I would say that I'm far more of the enforcer, but I think we have come across so many problems when it's not in there that I think my husband is finally accepting that it really needs to be in the calendar.
Okay, that's great.
And he can't rely on himself or us of having a conversation and remembering.
Oh no, that's hard.
No, it's just too many times where we assume we're going to remember this thing and then it doesn't get in there and all of a sudden it has been completely forgotten about. Like we forgot about a birthday party last week.
And not only that, you're just storing so much.
Information.
Too much information. So by putting it down in the calendar, you can make space for other things.
Yeah. And again, it has to be synced also with work stuff. When we work from home, and kids are done at 3:30, our workday is not. So it's really important to still have that stuff in there of he's got a client call, whatever that is, who's picking up the kids, making sure that is very clear in there as well. Because it's just, like I said, too much with 3 children. All of their different schedules need to be in this calendar as well. Okay. And it just only increases.
Yeah, so shared calendar, that's working.
That is working. Okay. Another thing is I have a shared grocery list. That's like an app that we can both see.
Okay.
It's called Listonic. And I love it because it has so many different lists in it actually.
Okay.
It's not just groceries. It can be, honey-do lists around the house or stuff like that. And it's just, again, it's synced to both of our phones. So if he's out and about, I'm like, hey, can you check the list because we needed X and Y from whatever, Canadian Tire or something. And it's there instead of a list that was left at home.
That's good.
Or something like that. Everything's there. I can't remember what I put in there, but just check there. And he's like, okay, we needed whatever it was.
And less bugging of you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm filling it in all the time with stuff, but it's just as we're out and about doing stuff, just again, trying to be as efficient with our time as possible. So that's another one I use all the time. And it's it remembers stuff. Okay. So again, your typical grocery list that you have, it's going to remind you of what things that you typically buy and that sort of stuff.
Okay. Do you want to say the app once more?
It's called Listonic.
Okay.
I can again put it in the notes after, but it's free. At least my version is free and I have a lot of lists in there.
Okay, great.
So that's working as well. So any little hacks like that, again, with tech that syncs the both of us together are really important for, I think, our household right now.
Okay, great. My system that's working well for me right now relates to laundry. I have a pretty good system that's working very well. We have a housekeeper who does support us with the laundry, but I like to be the one responsible for putting the loads in just to make sure it's done the way I like, everything separated. But the system is a single load is done every single day. In the morning it's run, we have an option to delay the start. And I like to do it in off hours.
Sure.
So before I go to sleep, I'd load the washer, everything's in there, and then it's set to start at 5 a.m. So it runs during off hours. And then I take the load and I put it in the laundry area. Everything gets hung to dry. I'm very particular about hanging it. And so this is part of the system. I have, instead of a drying, let's say, kind of foldable rack, it is a rack that holds hangers. And there's 3 rods. So every item goes on a hanger. And then instead of having to fold it, once it's dry, our housekeeper just takes the hangers and then puts the clothes right in the closet. So she doesn't have to spend time folding everything. Items are just really touched once.
I never fold anything.
To save.
Or I never hang anything.
Well, I know that hanging requires space.
Yeah.
And not everyone has space to hang everything.
I admire you for doing it.
But that was my solution for not having to waste time folding anything. Because I see folding as a real time suck.
Yeah.
And so I wanted my clothes to be hung anyway. And so this is the solution. It's touched once and then it goes in right away. But yeah, the socks, I will say, what you're talking about time suck. I'm like, on the flip side, underwear and socks are also hung because it's just a part of the process because we're already there. So to have to put this small, because remember, one single load is being run every single day. So that a family of 5 people, it really builds up. And so if we don't run a load every single day, then it does build up. Sometimes the loads aren't very large at all, but one single load every day allows us to stay on good track without too much buildup.
We're the opposite. We do all of our laundry in one day.
No way.
And I don't hang anything.
Wow. Okay. Yep. And then that means though.
There's a huge pile that is folded. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But I know that you have support.
I do have support.
Okay. That's great.
Well, it is and it isn't because I'm very dependent on that support.
Okay.
So we have like a cleaner that comes and she does our laundry. We have it weekly.
Yep.
And my husband and I are like, we should not be having this weekly anymore. Like our kids need to help out. Again, they're at that age. It was very different when they were small, 4 or 5 years old. They can't really assist in this, but they are 9.
Yeah, okay.
Going on 10. Like they can and they should. So that means that they're going to be in charge of doing a lot of these things, which again, as they should, but that just gives me anxiety thinking about it. Like I'm going to end up having to do the bulk of it is what I'm worried about. So we'll see. This is going to actually happen in September. So we're going to go to bi-weekly.
Okay, I see.
So I'll see how it goes. But it really should. It really should at this point. They need to be able to learn and do these things themselves. And
at least for the older 2. Because I can see how my middle, who's the same age as your youngest, he did attempt to help me hang items.
Yes.
And he's not ready for
helpful.
it.
Yeah.
He's not. And so not yet, but eventually. Yes. And so that's what's working well for us right now. A single load every day, including Saturday morning, Sunday morning. And again, that load is run early in the morning so that I can hang it right away Saturday, Sunday morning so that it doesn't interfere with everything else.
Yes.
So it's just something to check off the list and then be on our way.
My sister is a big hanger as well.
Okay.
So when we're at a shared like a cottage and she's hanging all the clothes, like it's everywhere. It's like just like walking through hung clothes. So I understand. Concept.
And I will say one other thing is that instead of if we had it on a rack and you just hang things not on the hanger,
they get the
it has the line.
Yes, it has a line.
Yeah. And so this system works really well with the hangers.
But don't you find it gets on the shoulder?
No, because we use kid-sized ones. Oh. So the kid-sized, and even some of my items go on the kid-sized.
That's a little trick.
Yes. Kid-sized hangers. If you are petite, it works well. And then adult-sized.
Yeah, because I always found that I get these like.
Yeah, that's it. You're using the wrong hangers.
That's what it was.
Okay.
It's like, I can't hang this. This looks ridiculous after.
Solution.
Maybe I'll change.
Okay, let's talk about systems for your relationship.
Yes. Yeah, it's tough. It is tough to find time to spend quality time together. We are like the last on the list, typically, which is not good. Not good, especially if we listened to some of the previous podcasts that we've had, very inspirational couples that have been together for, 20, 30 years. The trick is you're supposed to be first.
Yes.
And it's very difficult when there's so many obligations that are coming ahead and trying to find that time. So, I mean, the one thing that I find that has been, staying on top of our household duties and work, and my husband works, has a business, and all those things get in the way of us being able to spend quality time. So the first solution that we have started implementing is actually a regular touch point where we sit together and we go over the whole week or the month and we go over our calendars and make sure everything's in there. And it reduces so much conflict and having these things like what's coming up this week and just trying to get ahead in this month and seeing what that's supposed to be like. And then we're able to carve out time for ourselves. If we don't have that touch point of being able to do that, it won't happen. Whatever date night we thought we were going to have is just out the window because there's a lacrosse game instead that we forgot about or that I didn't know was happening. You know what I mean? There's just like things like that is just our time is very, very limited. So just getting on top of our calendars is number one.
Okay. So doing it like you are an organization.
Yes.
Having that weekly meeting.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm strict about it. It's the same time as Sunday at 10 a.m. We know that's open where we sit down and kind of go through what's going on in the upcoming week. So we're prepared ahead of it. Okay. And also just reviewing the month, like what else has been slotted in here and that's new. And we have a bit of like a system of how we go through all those things. So to keep it organized, it's like kids' calendars first, work calendars, And then other things like just family functions or extracurriculars or events that are happening. Kind of go through that system so that nothing's missed. And then we can carve out sometimes like date night or going away or something like that. Because that all involves, child care and getting organized ahead as well.
Okay. Oh, I love that.
That so far has been working, has improved a lot of places where there could have been conflict.
Yeah, just that opportunity to touch base.
Yeah, it needs to happen.
Okay, great. Ours is our Friday evenings. We have a babysitter every single Friday. And so it gives Alex and I an opportunity to do something. Lately, because we have been training for 29-029, it might just be going on a 4-hour hike together. But really, like thinking about 4 hours just walking with your partner, that's a lot of time to connect, to argue. There's lots of fights when we start the hike, and by the end, we're getting
disagreements.
Yes. But that's been a really great time for us just to connect. Hey, if I was smarter about it, maybe that would be the time for me to implement the weekly meeting.
Yes, except we do it with like notes and like a computer. Like it's very much like an office meeting.
Yeah, as it should be, I think. But yeah, that has been working really well for us. We know that time is there. And so if he and I want to do anything together, it's Friday evening.
Do you do those 10 questions? We had that podcast about the 10 questions for anybody that's listening and wants to review that. They were really great. A couple spoke about what these 10 questions that they ask each other every week to kind of keep themselves aligned. That would be a good time to kind of go through those.
I should keep a little piece of paper of the 10 questions in my
did
pocket.
those. Like we had a date night last week and I went through them and it was really, really nice.
Wow.
And
especially
it's like, I want
some
to
of
do it
those
again.
questions, because we would never have discussed some of the items on there.
Yeah.
And so it really gets you thinking and connecting.
Yes. They were really like, they kind of cover everything from, love, how you're doing, finances, planning, extracurricular, like things that you want to, philanthropic things you want to do, covers everything in 10 questions.
Okay. So more importantly than the relationship, what about yourself? What have you been doing?
For me, I've really realized that the only time I can guarantee any fitness in my life, which is really important, we all need it, from mental health, physical health, all of it, is first thing in the morning.
Okay.
The chances of it happening later is very, very slim. It's just a sliding scale. So I've had a pretty good system right now that's great during the school year. My struggle now is in the summer when we're not on the same routines. Camps start a little bit later. They're more, lax. Our kids are, it's summer. I don't want to get up right now. Whereas like, in school when we're very regimented, I require a regimented schedule. I do my workout first, deal with the kids for school, and then we're off. Like that's how things work. And now that we're off of that, I'm like, oh man, I'm trying to find time, squeeze things in. And it's a lot more, it's difficult. Yeah, I find that really hard. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily working. During the school year, it's working. During the summer, it's not working as well. So I need to kind of figure that out a little bit better when schedules are off.
Okay. Maybe you guys can discuss it in your weekly meeting.
Yes. Or I just need to be a lot more strict with myself.
Okay. Got it.
I could get up earlier and do it, but I'm not.
Okay. Well, on that note, the system that's working for me is my early bedtime and just my sleep routine. So for me, because I also wake up early to work out, I find that's the best time as well.
It really is.
So for me, it really starts at I have coffee first thing in the morning, but from noon onwards, no caffeine for me because it will affect my sleep. So for anyone whose sleep is affected, I would consider reflecting on how much caffeine you've had throughout the day and when you last had it. So I stop the caffeine at noon. When my kids are getting ready for bed, I'm also getting ready for bed. So they're brushing their teeth, I'm brushing my teeth. I'm getting my pajamas on so that as quickly as I can when bedtime is done, I can roll into bed. So they go to sleep, bedtime's done, and then I will lay out my clothes for the next day, especially if I'm waking up and it's dark and I don't want to wake Alex, or if there's a child in my bed, I'll pull out my clothes and leave them in the bathroom. If I need anything like certain orthotics for my running shoes or just my headphones or just anything to support me, I set it out the night before. And then I roll into bed. As you know, I use an alarm clock with a gentle sound to wake me up. Actually add one thing. When I'm getting ready for bed, when my kids are, that's when I kind of set the mood in my bedroom for bedtime. So I'll close the blinds, take the pillows off my bed, turn on the light in my alarm clock, make sure the alarm clock is set so that it really is set up for me Mind you, sometimes Alex will have been in the room since and the lights are very bright. And that's just like the opposite of bedtime mood. But I will do my best to set it up for success so that I can roll into bed as easily as possible. I sleep with a face mask so that it really keeps the darkness out.
Oh, this is like one for your skin.
Oh, no, no, actually to cover my eyes.
Okay, so like really dark.
Yes, really dark. So that helps me. And then again, the phone from the minute we're doing bedtime, the phone goes into my office. And then I try not to look at it again.
Yeah, I'm bad with that.
And that's it. So it's been working really well for me. And I would say in all of that, probably the thing that makes the difference between success and no success is my phone in the office.
Yeah.
If
I
it's
would
not,
absolutely say that
then
contributes to most of my not sleeping. My brain just starts going.
No. Yes, it could be downhill from there. Social systems or social network or your support. What's working well for you there?
I mean, I think WhatsApp chat groups are kind of necessary for any like friend groups. I have a university friend group. I have my close girlfriends, and that is where we're able to connect and try to get together and try to find, everybody's just trying to find time to like, when can we see each other? What we've also found is that works is having set recurring dates.
Yes.
Because it is like, I just went through this with my girlfriends. We are trying to get together and half of us can't do it. It's very difficult, to try to get us all schedules to align. Understandably so. But we still all want to be able to hang out and still have those shared experiences. So the only way that really happens, realistically, is we have few days, like dates throughout the year. There's a spring like get together. There's a winter one where we know this a year in advance.
Okay. Yes.
And those things are happening and they're planned out. And our spouses know, our families know, they're in we can probably plan them out for the next 5 years. We know we are attending these things. And that when in doubt, at least we have those things to rely on. And I have the same thing with a university group. We always do like a big Christmas dinner together, trying to get a summer one going, like a little summer barbecue where we have all the kids come. But that's going to be a recurring date.
Okay.
So again, otherwise, if it's not a recurring situation, it's difficult to make it happen. Is what we've just over the years with having children. That's just what we have found. The ones that work are recurring every year. We know the dates, and then if that doesn't happen, then the chance of success is pretty low. So that's what I have found in my advice to people. If you're struggling to see groups of friends, find a recurring event, whether it's like a New Year's or something, or just somewhere in a time that is not going to conflict with a lot of kids stuff. Because that's often the problem when sports come in.
Yep.
That works, and stick to it.
Okay. I love that.
And it takes a lot of thinking out.
It does. Just, once you're done, reschedule it for the next year.
Yeah, pretty much immediately. Yeah, immediately. It's like, okay, next time let's see the calendar. Okay, that's near this. Let's decide right now. And we do. And we just put it in there and then we are like, whew, off.
Okay, so I would say that what's working for me socially as well is pretty similar. It might not be annually. Mind you, we do have our annual dates. So for instance, one thing that some of us will do is annual, like a cookie exchange before the holidays so that we don't have to bake as much. And so after we did that this past December, we immediately set the next date for next December.
Yeah, if it works, you're like, okay.
It does. Other things that might not be as big. So we have switched from going out for dinner together to doing activities. So we've been doing like the cold plunge and sauna lately. We may do Activate. I don't know if that's known like all
like
over the place.
Yeah,
yes, but it's like an indoor games kind of place. We've talked about pickleball, just doing some sort of activity that we can do together. And then as even that evening, when we're done, then we will schedule the next one just to keep it going.
I think that's the key to success. Yeah.
Yes, it's the key to success. Really just getting it in the calendar right away versus waiting until we want to do something. And then we're looking potentially months out. And so if we can get that in the calendar immediately for our next get together, that works really well for us. And then one other thing that works really well for us is polls. And so if we haven't set the date right away and, maybe we've missed a week or so and we aren't all together, we will send out a poll on WhatsApp as a way to easily choose the date.
Yes. Yeah. We've done that. I think we have to do that right now because we cannot come together on a summer get together that we would like to do.
And lastly, outsourced support. What is working well for you right now?
Well, this is a to be seen one,
Okay.
but I'm really excited about it. We had on the podcast, we had Oxford Learning come in, and totally that episode solidified what I already knew in my mind, is that I wanted to introduce some additional educational support. I felt like I was doing the bulk of it outside and just, we don't have to get into all of it, but just some gaps I was feeling were in the curriculum that I would have liked my children to spend more time in. I can just see where they have strengths and weaknesses and just trying to fill in those gaps. And really, this is at the age where, homework starts to become more significant. And I could see that that was falling on me and I'm not the right person for that role.
Okay.
So I am outsourcing it. We actually start today and I'm really excited about it because I think that that's going to just give me that peace of mind. And it's, again, a nice routine system that I can introduce. It's very close to our house. So it really is not going to throw things off in our usual routines, but it's going to take the pressure off of me of doing that sort of extracurricular work where I'm like the bad cop, making them do things that they don't want to. And I think that they're actually going to have a more respectful environment there where they're inspired to kind of, have that time on their education outside of school. So
I love that.
Don't know how it's going to work yet, but I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Great. In terms of outsourced support for myself, I would say, like I've mentioned before, we have a Saturday nanny, but we've gone through a transition recently with a new Saturday nanny.
Mm-hmm.
Our former Saturday nanny was with us for 2 years, and she's moved on to the next chapter of her life. But it seems as though we have gone through cycles of about 2 years. And we've talked about having support in the past, but your support really evolves and changes as your kids age. So when we hired someone for this role initially, our youngest was a baby. After we had our first Saturday nanny for 2 years, again, she moved on. We've had wonderful Saturday nannies, but they're moving on to the next chapter of their life. We are looking for someone for the time being. We aren't looking for someone forever because we want individuals who are growth-minded and who want to move on to different roles in their life. So for the 4 years, we had 2 nannies covering that time, and our needs were pretty much the same. But now that we're at the 4-year mark and our kids are older, things have evolved for us. So it's been really great timing because it's allowed me to reflect on what has started to drain me. We hired the nanny initially to help solely with the kids so that she can support me and we could survive during the day and take care of them. But as they've aged, I've realized that I am taking on more of the household responsibilities like I haven't wanted to do during the week. So things like making the beds, cooking meals, I kind of fell back into that pattern where it's starting to bug me. And so it's allowed me to revisit our needs and those pain points for me during the day and really reestablish what a job description would look like for our Saturday support, update it, and then hire that new person to really align with my needs for right now. So the timing was perfect. And it means I'm not hustling during the day to run upstairs and make all the beds, and they can help with some food prep. And things are just a little easier. So that's been working really well for us lately.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
So those really are a lot of systems that we've covered. And again, these have come from trial and error for both of us. They're working for us right now really well. So maybe this is something that would work well for you if you are finding some pain points that are similar within your household.
Yeah, we're just kind of recapping and reflecting on a lot of things that we've noticed that over the years have worked and why they're working. We do have a lot of resources on our website that kind of go back to this, our smooth morning checklist. We have a number of other things about just kind of getting yourselves organized that I think just go back to this. A household runs better when there's really good systems. So if anything, step back, kind of reflect on what's not working, whether you're just mornings are rough or you're not able to find time for yourself or you're filled with doing stuff that drains you essentially. There's a new system that needs to be put in place. So maybe taking some of these ideas, reflecting on it and coming up with your own or using some of these and trying them out and let us know how that works.
Thank you so much for listening to the Intentional Household Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Join us on Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest at Intentional Household, where we're sharing even more tips, tools, and resources to help your home run with more ease, intention, and joy. Until next time, here's to creating a household that supports the life you want to live.